と today's game is going to be about Astronaut. And since I really liked the game made by Dear Sphere Studios last time, which was Mushroom Oasis, so I decided to, kind of look through their portfolio and I found a different game and it's called Astronaut. It is also kind of like a horror game. So I'm just gonna read it for the introduction and then we'll jump right into the game. Yeah. So this is a downloadable game for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. A lot of platforms. Quite. This music has been going on for a while and it's kind of scary. Anyways, submission for Monstrous Desires Jam 2024. You wake up aboard your ship under red emergency lights and no sign of your crewmate. Sorry, I'm reading off the website, so I'm not really sharing my screen right now, but except for one fresh recruit you've never met before. They're a little eccentric and talk a bit weird, but it's nothing you can't handle. As the designated mechanic of Bidari, that's not how Bidadari 221. This font is a bit hard to read. I apologize, but anyways, a vessel set to deliver a shipment of Earthian pet supplies across the galaxy. It is your job to make sure things around the ship work like they're meant to. Something went wrong. That you knew. You just hope you can figure it out before things go horribly wrong. I have a feeling that it is not going to be fun for me. Features, there's original artwork and backgrounds, which also was provided in the other game, Mushroom Oasis. I actually really like that game. There's one character and one ending. Okay, I love one endings so that I don't have to play like that many times. Warnings, there's screen shaking and sudden noises. So if you don't like jump scares, just like there's flickering lights, flashing lights. So if you have what was it called, epilepsy, yeah, you can tune away. Just close this stream and go for something more comfy. Body horror, vomit, and violence. Ooh, I'm gonna get my ass beat here. Contains spoilers. Okay, I'm not gonna open that. Okay, yeah. And that's it. That's for the introduction. Okay. Now that I've read the introduction, let's jump right into the game. And let's hope this music stops. Okay, we're gonna put it on auto. Vessel, Idadaru 221. Designation, mechanic. Please input crewmate identification. Enter. Oh, bigrisha. The moment my eyes flicked open, I instantly knew something was wrong. The bright red lights flooded the ambiance within my private quarters, leaving everything looking blood-soaked and gruesome. For a second there was a pulse of fear in my chest, before it faded, my logic stifling my instincts, telling me it was too soon to panic. Despite how the crimson hue signaled danger all around me, it was better to keep my head on straight. My hand reaches up to scratch an uncomfortable itch on my collar, only to find my arms were caught underneath my toppled desk. Luckily, my suit cushioned most of the impact, leaving a dull ache and nothing more. Grunting with effort, I kicked off the offending furniture and sat up to assess everything, fixing my visor over my eyes. I casted a quick glance around my room. Some furniture toppled on their sides, and my usually neat shelf of books and trinkets chaotic and disorganized. I'm doing some quick reading here. Did the ship crash into something while I was asleep? Usually, there was a piercing alarm accompanying the emergency lights, but oddly enough, it's gone quiet. Either I slept through it somehow, or something else happened for it to malfunction. As the person in charge of repairs and maintenance, that didn't bode well to me in the slightest. Just the sheer volume of that siren should have woken me up. Sai? I call out to the room, expecting a matronly, if a little stoic voice. Hayai. Chotto mate. If a little stoic voice to respond back. Sai's a cool name. I have a friend named Sai too. The late responses from the ship's AI weren't common, but they could still happen. Oh, okay. It was the ship's AI. As a spacecraft shipping nothing but Earthian pet supplies across the galaxy, we weren't really working with the most advanced tech there is. Not to mention the budget cuts. I sighed, already feeling a migraine forming in the back of my head. Sai, can you respond, please? Still nothing. I clicked my tongue. That's not a good start. I inhaled deeply and stood up to exit my room, my boots clunking down the hallway, and the only accompaniment. Pause. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to play according to like the game's like audio, but I'm so bad at reading. Accompaniment I had as I made my way to the main console. Also, I really want to appreciate the art here. So I love how they made like some scratchy and to show that they're in like a lit room. I don't know how to say it, but great art. Along the way, I didn't see any other signs of disturbance. Not like the only one in my room, at least. I scratched at my arm, keeping a lookout for any trouble. Everything seemed to be business as usual. Other than the emergency lights, that is. A nagging thought crept into my head. While I wanted to take the current situation seriously, I couldn't help but feeling skeptical. Was it another one of their pranks again? It's been a few months of me working for this company. I was expecting the hazing phase to die out any day now. Or at least, I hope it would eventually. There's only so many ways one can keep themselves entertained on the shipping vessel months into the trip, I suppose. Oh. I just hated the fact that I was one of those ways. Regardless, whatever's happening is worth investigating. Awful co-workers or not. I could only hope I got out of this one without any lasting trouble. Reaching the main console of the ship, I frowned at the absence of my crewmates. Where the hell are they? It was getting a little ridiculous how quiet the space was other than the ambient humming and the occasional bleeps from the console. At first, I didn't want to feel offended at the fact that nobody came to fetch me if it was a possible emergency, but the greeting silence only formed a pit in my stomach. Captain? Anyone? Is this another disappearing bit? Because it wasn't funny the last 2 times either. The lights are a nice touch though. No stifled chortles. No snarky quips. Bristling from the quiet, I called out again. Come on, guys. I'd rather you insult me than leave me in the dark like this. Nothing? I sighed and shuffled over to the main panel, pulling the lever to disable the emergency lights. The dark, gory tint of the room fades away into its usual sterile white. Sterile white. Glad to see that's working fine. Standing there, I expected someone to at least reveal themselves already. Reveal themselves. Abracadabra. It's like a game of chicken to see if I break down first. I folded my arms, standing awkwardly in the center of the room. Nothing but absolute stifling silence. Guys? With every passing second, a heavy sense of trepidation grew. That's a big word. I swallowed down the inevitably that I had to accept that it wasn't a practical joke after all. Hi. Where was I? Practical joke after all. Shuffling to the console hurriedly. Am I reading too slow? I feel like I'm not keeping up with the autoplay. I checked the rest of the system. Artificial gravity, navigation, communications. My brows furrowed as I squinted down at all the panels. It's like everything was reset. I perked up as I caught sight of the reboot logo for the ship drumming back and forth on one of the screens. Sigh, AP must be restarting. I waited impatiently for the familiar dinky chime to ring through the speakers. Sigh? Oh, hello. The low, droning voice was littered with a little more static than usual. I was just glad to hear someone talk back. Oh, thank God. Is everything alright? You don't sound too good. Well. The current state of my systems are suboptimal. Several of my primary functions are. Oh. Are disabled or inoperable. I recommend repairs immediately. I'll get right on that once I figure out what's going on. I fidgeted with my tool belt as I thought of something simple to ask. What happened to ship? There was a short pause before Sai was able to respond. Significant impact was detected against rear exterior of the ship. My brows raised. We hit something? Affirmative. I grimaced, my worst fear coming true. I was really hoping that wasn't the case. And how long ago? Approximately 24 minutes ago. And I was passed out on the floor the entire time. I'm a good sleeper. This might be more serious than I thought. Okay, that answers that. How bad is it? Unknown. Manual assessment required. I gulped, my breath stilling for a second. The thought of having to leave the safety of the ship and crawl along the outside, tethered by nothing but a flimsy cable to inspect damage who knows how bad. I leaned forward as a nervous laugh spilled between my teeth, hands gripping the edge of the console to steady myself.